Right now, at a construction site in Las Vegas, a wheel loader is being operated by someone sitting 3,000 kilometers away. No cable, no lag, just an AI system called Real-X that just went live on Hyundai's newest excavators. And it's not a prototype anymore. This happened last week at CONEXPO 2026, and what Hyundai just showed the industry suggests that the future of construction equipment isn't about replacing workers, it's about giving them superpowers they never had before.
What exactly is Real-X? It's an AI-powered autonomous system that Hyundai developed over the last few years, starting as something called Concept X. Think of it as an operating system for heavy equipment, the kind of software layer that lets a machine work 3 different ways without swapping out hardware. The first mode is fully autonomous. The excavator runs itself, following pre-programmed tasks like trenching or bulk earthworks. No human in the cab, no remote operator watching. It just works. The second mode is remote control. An operator sits at a console, could be in the same building or thousands of kilometers away, and pilots the machine in real time. This is what they demonstrated in Las Vegas. Someone controlling a wheel loader from Hyundai's product center in South Korea, 3,000 kilometers distant with no noticeable delay.
The third mode is manual. A human operator sits in the cab with a joystick, doing what equipment operators have always done. But now, they can call in the autonomous system to handle repetitive sections or hand off to remote control if they need precision from a safer distance. The key insight: Real-X doesn't lock you into one way of working. You can switch between all 3 modes mid-job. That flexibility is what makes this different from earlier autonomous attempts that required complete commitment to one approach. Real-X isn't abstract. It's bolted on to actual equipment that Hyundai rolled out last month for the first time in the US market. The centerpiece is the HX series excavators, specifically the 23 to 40-ton models. These are mid-size machines designed for commercial construction work, and they're paired with proprietary engines, the DX05 and DX08 for the smaller units, and the DX22 for extra-large excavators. Hyundai also showed hydrogen and battery electric versions alongside the diesel options. At CONEXPO, the company's booth took up roughly 2,413 square meters, about 26,000 square feet, and displayed 22 flagship machines total. 5 of those were the HX series excavators running Real-X. But the autonomous system isn't limited to excavators. Hyundai demonstrated it on wheel loaders and articulated dump trucks too, which means Real-X can handle different machine types and different job profiles.
This matters because it signals serious market commitment. A 26,000 square foot booth with 22 machines isn't a proof of concept. It's a manufacturer saying, we're here to compete in North America, and this is our new standard. On the surface, remote control sounds like a novelty, watching a machine work from a screen. But dig into actual construction work, and it solves real problems that job sites face every day. First, there's safety. Certain tasks are genuinely dangerous. Working in confined spaces, operating near unstable terrain, or pushing equipment to its precision limits in tight quarters. Remote control lets an operator step back physically while maintaining full control. They're not in the cab when the machine is doing risky work. That's not trivial on sites where injuries are common. Second, there's precision. Some jobs like detailed trenching for utilities or careful truck loading, where you're stacking material inches from a boundary, demand accuracy that's hard to achieve from inside a loud, vibrating cab. A remote operator, sitting calmly at a console with better sightlines, can work more deliberately. Real-X's lack of latency, which Hyundai demonstrated over 3,000 kilometers, means there's no delay between input and machine response, so precision becomes feasible at distance.
Third, there's the labor angle. Construction sites in North America are facing persistent worker shortages, especially for skilled equipment operation. Remote control doesn't eliminate the need for operators, but it does mean one experienced operator can manage multiple machines or handle work from a safer, more comfortable location. That flexibility helps sites work with smaller crews or deploy expertise across multiple projects. And then there's the practical everyday use, truck loading. An excavator needs to scoop material and deposit it into a truck bed with precision and speed. Remote control lets the operator see the truck from angles the cab operator can't and work without the fatigue that comes from bouncing around in the cab all day. Real-X didn't appear out of nowhere. Hyundai's been building toward this for years. The company started with Concept X, an earlier autonomous system that included drone surveying and fleet management through something called X Center. Real-X is the refined, field-ready version of that work.
work. More telling, in April 2025, Hyundai partnered with Wholesome, a major global construction materials company, to deploy autonomous Develon machines, Hyundai's sister brand, in quarrying operations. That partnership proved the tech could work in real commercial environments, not just demos. It built confidence that autonomous and remote-controlled equipment could handle the noise, dust, and unpredictability of actual job sites. Now, why North America specifically? Construction here demands certain things: high power output, durability under heavy use, and strict compliance with carbon emissions regulations. Hyundai tailored the HX series and Real-X specifically for these requirements. They're not adapting Asian machines for Western markets. They're designing for Western demands from the ground up. This matters because it shows Hyundai isn't testing the US market. They're committing to it. A 9-model lineup, 26,000 square feet at the industry's biggest trade show, live demos of remote operation. These are moves a company makes when they believe in their product and want market share.
So here's what we're actually looking at. A major equipment manufacturer has moved autonomous and remote-controlled machinery from concept to field-ready product, demonstrated it at scale to the industry, and tailored it specifically for the North American market. That's not incremental progress. That's a market shift happening in real time. The machines work. The system switches seamlessly between modes. The latency is negligible, even across continents. And Hyundai has the manufacturing scale and market presence to actually deploy this at volume, not as a boutique offering. What happens next depends partly on adoption, how many construction companies take the leap to remote and autonomous operation, and how fast. But it also depends on whether other equipment makers follow, and whether regulations catch up to enable autonomous equipment to operate without constant human oversight. Those are open questions, but one thing is clear: the construction site of 5 years from now will look different from today, and Real-X is a big part of why.